Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, January 12th, 2017. I'm Keith Tebow. Today we take a look at Fall River's plan to share Community Development Agency block grant funds. We provide an update on more changes within the management at the Department of Community Maintenance and look ahead to the kickoff of the city's annual fitness challenge. But let's bring in Will Richmond, the digital city editor at the Herald News. We talk about the news issues of the week. Will, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, Keith. How you doing?
Good, thanks. I want to start with something which has been a disturbing story, unfortunately, for many years here, not only in the city of Fall River, but nationwide. That is the unfortunate increase in incidences of overdoses within our communities. And in today's paper, the Herald News has a story about the city of Fall River and the region's overdoses for the city of for the year rather of 2016, and unfortunately the numbers are not going in the right direction. Talk about some of the numbers and we'll get into a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah, this is certainly a trend that we started to see building as the year went on, and we did some updates throughout 2016. But with the final tallies coming in, as we reported in today's paper, it really puts the focus on how big the opioid overdose problem is growing here in Fall River. Some of the numbers, a total of 934 overdoses during the year. Of that, 72 were fatal. That 72 number is double what the number was in 2015. So things are, while there's certainly a heightened awareness of the problem, there's a lot of agencies, groups at the state level, governmental agencies that are looking at this problem. It certainly looks like it's getting worse before it's going to get any better.
One of the things, it's difficult for those of us who are fortunate enough not to have been impacted by someone we may know who may have an issue with addiction, to see some of these numbers. You mentioned the agencies and social service organizations within our city, healthcare, that deal with this on a day in and day out basis. And just the gravity of the problem. You mentioned 934 overdoses in 2016 within the city of Fall River. That's almost 300 more total overdoses than 2015. And again, as you mentioned, the number of deaths resulting in those overdoses of 72, that's more than double the 2015 number. How difficult is it for your organization at the Herald to try to make sense of some of these numbers for people, I'll be honest with you, fortunately like me, that haven't been impacted by someone that we may know that has been addicted?
Yeah, it's tough still. Certainly you may recall that we selected the opioid problem as the sort of newsmaker of the year for 2016. Right. And, in my time frame or in putting together that piece, I talked to a couple of different people, and one of the tough things that still exists is that stigma that's associated with the opioid problem. There's a sense from some people that I got that in Fall River there's a very strong sense of hopelessness amongst people that have been affected by this, whether it's as they're watching their family members struggle with addiction, people themselves are struggling with addiction. But there are a number of agencies out there, and we've actually even started profiling some every day in the print version of the paper, and those will be going online at heraldnews.com. But I mean, there are no shortage of groups that are trying to make a dent in this problem. And they're all trying, they're doing their part individually. They're trying to do more to work collaboratively. And, numbers like this are just, have got to be difficult to swallow for anyone, whether you're on the helping end, whether you're someone who's been affected by the problem, or you are dealing with the overdose problem yourself. So, like I said, the stigma aspect, I think, from what I'm told by people, is still very prevalent in the Fall River area. Families have a hard time coming forward to talk about the problem when they're part of they have family members that are involved in opioids, and that problem, that stigma, in some ways gets in the way of helping to find solutions to what's happening here as well.
And it's all part of the information sharing that we all can do in the media, both the Herald and an organization like Fall River Community Media here can share that information with people and let people know that there is help available and there's alternatives for people. But the article in today's paper also let out that thus far, through 10 days of 2017, there have already been 23 overdoses reported and 2 deaths in 10 days of 2017. So definitely some sobering numbers for last year and going forward, but it's something that we'll just keep an eye on, and it crosses over all demographics and men, women, age groups, and it's just something that needs to be focused upon more. And I know we're doing it here at FRCMedia, and you are as well at the Herald News. Let's shift gears now to the Fall River City Council holding its first formal meeting of 2017 this week. And one of the formalities that happens each year at the first meeting of the City Council is the Council elects its leadership for the year. And what has been traditionally the case here in Fall River in a 2-year cycle, normally the individuals who are president and vice president of the council at the beginning of a term normally are reelected for the second year of their term, and that was the case this year with Sean Kadim being revoted in as City Council President and Linda Pereira as Vice President. But one of the things that was interesting was that former City Council President Joe Camara initially did not vote for Mr. Kadim for President. I believe he voted for Councilor Richard Cabeceras. So a little interesting vote there.
Yeah, there was no change, as you mentioned. Actually, I think you may have caught an early version of our story that we had to clean up, but the votes we initially reported the votes swapped. So that vote for Richard Cabeceras was actually for the vice president's role.
Vice president, okay.
Yeah, but certainly he, I think in the end he took that away to make it a unanimous vote. So while in some years there's been some politicking and jockeying in that mid-year role, that was not the case this year. Both Linda and Sean moved through very smoothly to retain the presidency and vice presidential roles going forward. So we'll see what that means in the next year for the council.
Some other council news this week. The City Council tabled for now a request by Mayor Correa to allocate upwards of $30,000 to continue the mayor's efforts in his branding campaign in the city of Fall River. Can anything be a gauge from that tabling on whether the council may still provide or not provide that funding for the mayor?
Yeah, well, certainly to this point, the council has seemed very hesitant to approve that funding for the Brandon Initiative. One of the themes that seems to reoccur when the discussion comes up is that they want more information, want to know more about what it is they'd be getting for the money. The Brandon Initiative has sort of been Mayor Correa's pet project, so to say. So I think they want to know what exactly it is they'll get for the money if they allocate it, rather than feeling like it may just go down the drain into something that is very much led by the mayor, and they sort of feel like they may be on the outside looking in on this effort.
And one final issue that's actually online today at the Herald News is the fact that the City Council learned this week that earlier in the budget process for fiscal 2017 back last summer, the mayor had looked to increase the salary of his special assistant, Faust Fiore. The council rejected that pay increase, but it looks like the mayor was able to move some money around in terms of a stipend to give to Mr. Fiore, and some councilors aren't too pleased with that.
Yeah, certainly they had sought to change the position title by ordinance while also increasing the pay. With that was rejected by the council back in June. To the council's objections to this, the mayor has his budget, just like any city department does. Generally they're allowed to operate within their budget. So I don't know. This is something I'm writing about for my Sunday column as well. But to me, I think it's a little bit of an overreaction on the city council's part.
All right. All right, Will, what's coming up at the paper over the next few days?
This weekend, we've talked with some of the local federal delegation to kind of see what they think as President Barack Obama is headed out of office, what they feel his sort of legacy on the area in Massachusetts is, and what they'll be doing to sort of protect out those positions as well moving forward as we enter the world of a Donald Trump presidency.
Well, we'll see. One little over a week away. All right, Will, have a great week. We'll talk to you next time.
All right, Keith, you too. Have a good weekend.
We'll have more FRC Media news right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Fall River Career Center. Recreation Assistant. Genesis Healthcare is looking for a part-time recreation assistant to assist in the planning, organizing, and directing activity programs for customers and patients at the Sarah Brayton Nursing Center in Fall River. Job number 836-1542. Rate Analyst. Liberty Utilities, located at 36 5th Street in Fall River, is seeking a full-time rate analyst to perform analytical work in support of regulatory proceedings and decisions. Project management, Microsoft Excel, and data analyst skills are required. Job number 836-1216. Dentist. Dental Dreams, located at 45 Mariano Bishop Boulevard, is seeking a full-time dentist to provide quality general dentistry for their patients in their Fall River office location. Job number 835-7104. Pizza Hut, located at 191 Grand Army Highway in Somerset, is looking to fulfill the following positions. Shift Manager, job number 836-2064. Team Member, job number 836-2241. Restaurant General Manager, job number 836-2239. Delivery Driver, job number 836-2057. For more information on these or other positions, visit FRCmedianews.org or call the Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. It's that time of year again when nonprofit agencies and city departments in Fall River apply for their portion of community development block grant monies funneled into the city by the federal government. The application process is currently underway. FRC Media News spoke with CDA Executive Director Michael Dion this week about the application process.
We have 3 different programs in the plan. The CDBG, Community Development Block Grant, will be somewhere around $2.6, $2.7 million. The Emergency Solutions Grant, which funds our homeless shelters in the city and also some rental assistance and rapid rehousing funds, is about $240,000, and then our home program, which we do our rehabs with, our rehab program, and our first-time home buyer program is somewhere around $750,000.
Now, is it just nonprofits, or can anybody apply?
City departments and nonprofit agencies can apply. We do sometimes get applications from individuals, and we also get some from organizations that are not nonprofits. We do not fund those. If an organization comes to us that's not a nonprofit, we'll let them know what they need to do to become a nonprofit. There is substantial filings with the state and the federal government and stuff, but it's basically nonprofits and city departments.
And what typically do people want the money for?
I get all kinds of requests. We run by a very tight set of regulations, so there's all kinds of different stuff that people request. But it's very, very stringent. They have to fit a certain criteria, has to fit a certain box. Most of the programs are public service programs, public infrastructure programs, economic development programs. But we do get people who apply for festivals. They want to put on a festival in the city. They want to they want to hire somebody for their organization, and the majority of them, when they do come in, are eligible, but there are some that we get, very small amount, that just don't fit any criteria. So we have to call them, let them know, and say, hey, we can't do anything for you.
Other events happening in the Community Development Agency. First-time homebuyer counselor George Tripp has upcoming seminars planned at Government Center that are designed to educate city residents about the process involved in buying their first home.
We like the idea of getting them financially savvy so that they know where they stand. They shouldn't go out looking for a $300,000 house if they're only eligible for a $189,000 house. And that saves real estate agents time and energy, and it saves disappointment for the prospective buyer.
Now, suppose you happen to be a second-time home buyer. Are you still welcome?
Well, there are some programs that allow for that. And by the way, the definition of first-time home buyer is somebody that never owned or has not owned in the last 3 years. So different programs look at those definitions also. And one of the key things that we do also is we talk about the Buy Fall River program, okay, because that's a fantastic 0% down payment program. And again, that's partially funded through Massachusetts Housing Finance Agency, but you would still go to your own local lender.
For more information about either of these community development programs, call 508-679-0131. Mayor Jazia Correa made another change in the management team within the Department of Community Maintenance after hiring Adriano Ponciano over the summer to serve as DCM department head. City Administrator Kathy Ann Vivera says Mr. Ponciano has just this week been replaced by longtime city employee John Perry.
Mr. Ponciano was brought on about 6 months ago, and while he's been doing a credible job at the position, the feeling was that as the second in command, he could spend more time learning about the community, learning about departmental operations, and we believe that with some additional training, he's going to be an invaluable asset to the city of Fall River.
Mrs. Viveras also gives us a look at the salary changes for the two positions.
John Perry assumed the base salary of Mr. Ponciano, which is $80,000. And because the snow plowing activity, which normally would have moved to Mr. Ponciano, is going to stay with Mr. Perry, he's getting an additional stipend of $5,000. And Mr. Ponciano will be assuming John Perry's former salary of $75,000. So they're effectively reversing roles and reversing salaries.
We'll have more FRCmedia news right after this.
Hi, this is Badger. Badger is 11 months old. He's still a baby. He is in a Portuguese Podengo. That's how you say that. So it is a definite breed of a dog. He's very energetic. He absolutely loves to play and run. When we first got him, he actually couldn't even be led on a leash. He would just lay down and we'd have to pull him. So he's very playful now. He seems very happy. He loves everybody. He wouldn't be good for little kids, and 13 or older would be good with teenagers. He'd be fine with them. We're not sure how he is with cats, but he's great with other dogs. He loves other dogs. So there, and he's absolutely sweetheart. See that? He loves to be loved. Yes, he. So hello, this is Rascal. As you can see, Rascal has the house all to himself. He is a domestic medium hair tabby. As you can see, he has a lot of fur. He does need somebody who doesn't have any other cats, and is pretty much a nice quiet household. And if you just keep him brushed, his fur will be absolutely perfect. He is very, as you can see, he's engaged all the time. He loves to play. He likes to be pet, and he does get a little bit restless sometimes, but you'll know when he's had enough, he'll tell you. See, he's like a dog sometimes too. He does need to lose some weight. He's had this place all to himself for almost a year now, so he's been with us for quite a while. So it's time for us to try to find somebody to take him in, because we love him so much, but we know that he deserves to be in a better place. Don't you, honey?
The kickoff for the 10th annual Fall River Fitness Challenge, sponsored by Greater Fall River Recreation, is this Saturday, January 14th at the Cuss Middle School. Working in conjunction with the city's wellness program, Mass in Motion, Eric Andrade is in charge of organizing an inside walking group as part of the 12-week program.
This year in the challenge, I will be once again leading the walking groups that are indoor in the hallway at Cuss. I'll be leading that with Jack Shipley, who works for Partners for a Healthier Community. He was part of it last year along with some other cohorts, but him and I will be taking the lead this year. We had over 100 people join in last year, so it was a great success, and we hope to build upon that this year. We play music in the hallway, and it's about an hour long, and it's a good pace for people who find the fitness challenge a little too tough and rigorous.
What kind of age groups?
I had all age groups. I had, I think, probably about 7-year-olds who were there with their family. I had, I don't want to speculate on their age, but seniors. So a wide age group, and everyone seemed to have fun. I also had some teenagers around my age who joined, people who were in the challenge, and then after they got tired a little bit, came out to slow down the pace for the walking group. So a very wide age group.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. You can watch FRC Media News Thursdays and Fridays at 6 p.m. and you can check us out online 24/7 at frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday.